number 16 leads the 89th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Boys, move over. Danica Patrick wins a twin ring Motegi.
The most popular IndyCar driver and known the world over, Danica Patrick.
I think we're already seeing the impact, you know, the publicity and everything that it's going to bring in the fan base.
They'll hopefully bring a lot of different fans, you know, maybe a different demographic to watch NASCAR. I think she'll do really well in the sport. She will actually help it, you know, down the road, not just right now.
She'll surprise a lot of people. These cars are a challenge to drive, but I think she's going to be with a good team and good equipment. The learning curve for her will be a little bit shorter than it would for a lot of the drivers coming into the sport.
I really have always had so much respect for the NASCAR fans. They are tried and true, dedicated fans. And you know what? One thing I've actually really been excited to see is a Danica flag hanging from someone's trailer somewhere. I just want to see one. I think if I see that and, you know, there's a few people cheering for me, that I will be okay.
Go Danica, you're my hero!
Well, there is no question that Danica Patrick's presence in these first few NASCAR Nationwide Series races has generated interest beyond what the series normally has. The TV ratings, the live attendance, all up. The souvenir sales, that trailer has been about the busiest one outside the racetrack for the past few weeks. Let us hear from the driver of the GoDaddy.com Chevy. Dr. Punch is with Danica.
Thank you, AB. I don't think Danica's gone anywhere the last 3 weeks without having a camera in her face. And Danica, you guys were very upfront when you made the announcement you were going to come to NASCAR about how steep the learning curve would be. What, now looking back for the last 3 weeks, what's been the most difficult part about learning to drive a stock car?
Yeah, it has been difficult, that's for sure. I think the hardest thing for me is that when the car isn't right, I don't necessarily know how to fix it. And, you know, things are tricky. I mean, I was talking to Harvick on pit lane, and he was talking about, you know, you got to drive it hard into the corner. So it's like, you know, you got to get it to work by doing that, but you got to be trusting of the car to do that. So, you know, it's just tricky. There's just a lot to learn. I'm learning, that's for sure, and every lap I finish, I'm doing better, and, you know, I feel more comfortable, and I did a pretty good chunk of race distance in practice yesterday, so, you know, I just gotta keep the expectation levels in check, and, you know, I can't help but talk to you guys all the time and want to do well for my fans, and, you know, sometimes it just can't happen.
You know, we had Mark Martin in our pit studio a little bit ago, and Mark said, and I'm going to quote, what she is trying to do is beyond hard. But he said, I've been so impressed with the fact that she's done it the right way. She hasn't torn up a car in practice or in the race, and that she's trying to learn step by step. That's pretty high praise from one of the most respected names here in the garage.
Absolutely. Mark is an incredible driver, and especially nationwide. I mean, has anyone come close? I mean, he's won so many races. I think I was watching the broadcast, like 48 wins. So I respect him a lot. I remember talking to him at Phoenix a good few years ago and asking him about this schedule. And this is while I was still like overwhelmed with the amount of races there was in the series. And he's like, hey, you know, you get used to it, but you do get a little tired. And so anyways, we talked about racing, and, you know, I appreciate those kinds of comments. And, you know, it means a lot when guys like that say stuff like that and are positive, because it's hard to stay positive when you're not up front and when you're not doing what you want to do. And like I said, you just gotta keep expectations realistic.
Let's turn back the clock a moment to 3 weeks ago when you started your stock car career at Daytona in a pretty impressive fashion. You had the slide through the grass in the ARCA race. You came from the back, a little pushing and shoving there at the end to get a sixth-place finish. And then a week later in the nationwide race, you dodged the big one time, and the second time you did everything right, but you still got caught up in it. Now that you look back, how would you describe your first Daytona experience?
Well, if we're calling it the ARCA race, then it was pretty darn fun. It was very cool coming from the back after, you know, spinning through the grass and coming into the pits and a couple of times to fix the car and make sure nothing was rubbing on the tire, and it was so much fun. And I gave myself that little bit of drug where it was like, man, that's what it's like to run up front, and then you jump into nationwide, it's even harder, and, you know, the car is a little more tricky to drive, and the drivers, there's, you know, just the field gets deeper every step you go. So Yeah, I want more of that, but it's obviously not going to happen overnight, is it?
No, it's going to take a while.